Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been scared? Follow-up question. Why did you lie? I thought we had something. Fear is one of the most human experiences. Next to that moment where you don't know if it's just a really stinky fart or if you're getting a little surprise in the middle of dinner. There are many fears. Fears of the big, small, fear of spiders, fear of the dark, fear of the unknown, fear of the chance that maybe that wasn't just a fart. Everybody is scared of something at the end of the day. Now, some of these fears are more rational than others, such as spiders or heights, which have some evolutionary backing behind them. Others, like the fear of clowns, are a little less grounded in everyday scenarios. See, but in the gaming world, there are hundreds of experiences that can exploit your deepest fears. Because there's no limit to what is possible, there are many ways you can experience these horrors. A sequel in one of the most famous horror franchises of all time, Resident Evil 9 Requiem, was just recently announced, and with it, the announcement that you can play the entire game in both first and third person, sparking the debate about which is scarier, and the answer might be a little more nuanced than you think. So I think it'd be best if we took a look at some games from both sides and a mystery third perspective to see if there is truly an answer, or at the very least just highlight the advantages and disadvantages of both. It's your Koi, welcome to the pond, because we're diving deep. To begin, let's start with the other Resident Evil games. The Resident Evil games are some of the most influential of all time. A reason for this is their innovation and groundbreaking techniques that all find new ways to scare the player. What was the result of technological limitations of the time bred the grounds for some truly creative horror. In these early games, there's always a sense of being watched, as each angle is specifically placed to either reveal or conceal information. While it can be annoying as the camera constantly swaps between positions, I believe that the trade-off is worth it. Some of the angles are just downright horrifying. It also means that the game isn't confined to you. Up, down, left, and right are all available to explore. You can be seen from far away or up close, never letting you breathe completely, as there could always be something just out of view. On top of that, having fixed cameras allows the developers to create these beautiful scenes, since you're only ever going to see them the way they want you to. So there's no weird texture glitches or doors that go nowhere. And I find that, especially in the older games, the changing camera adds to the confusion and overwhelming nature of the horror, as if the game itself is trying to trap you within its boundaries. Furthermore, in moments of tension, the fight to reorientate yourself while enemies chase you down can enhance the horror as you scramble like eggs to safety, making the zombies even more powerful in a sense, as they aren't confined to the difficulty of the technology. The player throughout the entire experience is always at a disadvantage, which conceptually makes the horror all the worse. Now, one common complaint with third-person games is a disconnect between the player and the character. Some people find that the disconnect in perspective makes it harder to get scared, which I just plainly disagree with. Unlike the passive mediums of film and books, in games you're actively engaged the entire time, all of which immerse you in the experience of the characters who serve as almost an extension of you. I mean, some of the highest rated games of all time are third person, so it's clear that immersion isn't an issue with these types of games. The third person perspective is used to scare you with a sense of disconnect from safety. Now, pulling in closer with Resident Evil 7. In this game, which is commonly referred to as the scariest Resident Evil game in years, the horror comes from the intimacy of everything. The bakers are always close to you and you get to see every ugly detail in 4K. Every environment and enemy completely towers over Ethan, and the first person perspective really helps sell the feeling that you are the one being chased down and you are the one who's trapped in the house. Every jump scare is so much scarier because you can't see them coming, which wouldn't be as effective in a third-person perspective. Watching Ethan be bludgeoned by his wife is made so much worse by the fact that you're the one taking the blows head on. And when that isn't happening, during the downtime you're just limited to narrow hallways. You can't peek around corners without sticking your head out, which makes every turn feel even more intense, contributing to the madhouse experience of the game. And since you're confined to Ethan's perspective the entire time, when you can't see is pure skin crawling. Creaky floors or opening doors can only be heard and you have no idea whether it's just the diegetic of the environment or if someone's got their eye on you. Made all the worse when that's the direction you gotta go. The immersion that's offered by the first person cannot be overstated enough. But that's just one franchise. Let's jump to some other games and see how they manage the system. Starting with Silent Hill. Look. Okay, I know you're sick of every video essay is talking about Silent Hill, but this time we're not just talking about 2, okay? Anyways. The Silent Hill franchise is known as being some of the scariest games on the market, which have withstood the test of time. The recent Silent Hill 2 remake is just a testament to how unnerving the world of the originals was. And I credit some of the horror within the games to the camera. Both in the original and remakes, the games focus around the confusion and unease of the protagonist. Within the game, this manifests as a thick cloud of fog that envelops everywhere you look. But just throwing some fog in a town doesn't make it scary. What heightens the tension is watching James or Heather run around in a world which we know is evil, knowing what lays beyond the mist, and watching them run headfirst into it. This, in my opinion, can only be achieved through the use of the third-person camera, as running through a foggy area would get pretty annoying in first person. Not only that, but the physical disconnect allows games to get much more intense with their cutscenes, such as with the encounters with Pyramid Head or lying figures. The freedom to just let the camera wander leads to some of the most iconic moments in the games. To an even greater extent, we can look to the first game. The alleyway is regarded as the scariest moment in the first Silent Hill game, and that's thanks to, in large part, how the camera swells around you as you maneuver through it, culminating in reveal of the corpse. This would not be nearly as effective if not for the use of the camera. Sure, in first person it would be scary, but not iconic. The camera is a tool that can be used for storytelling, and that's what I think third-person horror is able to achieve. Because the thing is, they're kind of like movies. It's the same reason movies like Paranormal Activity, Us, or Halloween are all terrifying. Because even though we're not in danger, I mean you're just sitting on your couch doom scrolling without any threats around you. Yet when the scary face goes boo, you still get scared.
Dude, I warned you, I said I was gonna do that if you did that again.
Through the use of music, story, and the camera, the movies are able to keep you glued to your chair watching to see what happens. It's addicting. The lens in which we experience horror movies is critical, as it can reveal or conceal and even elevate the tension of a scene through simple movements. And third-person horror games are similar. Like cinema, they're able to convey information in ways not possible in the first person. But sometimes, seeing is half the battle, devilishly used by developers to trick you into pooping your pants. Such is the case with the predators of Amnesia the Bunker and Alien Isolation. Both take a similar concept of the cat and mouse game and apply it in different ways. Firstly is Alien Isolation. This game is over 10 years old, yeesh, and is still terrifying. And this is due to how the game manages the xenomorphs hunting. During your time on the Sevastopol, you will encounter the xenomorph many a times, with each being more haunting than the last. The alien towers over you, hulking around every corner with both speed and precision, signifying that if you even breathe too loud, this beast will rush you with over 400 pounds of deadly force. What adds to the presence, however, is how you, the player, are always crouching and peeking around corners, consequently shrinking yourself, making the height difference even larger. On top of that, the xenomorph is highly intelligent. He'll hide in vents and roam around you, making his presence ever more dominant in your mind, knowing that he could be watching or close by at any time, placing constant stress and dread even if you can't see him. So either way, you're f***ed. On top of this, the genius AI design of the alien, which actually consists of two AIs. One AI that knows your location at all times, and another that is actively trying to figure out where you are based on the hints from the first AI and mistakes you make. So every time you make too much noise, that only makes the alien smarter and in turn deadlier. Your only defense against him is your radar gun, which only shows his location as a dot and blurs your vision anytime you have it out, meaning you could accidentally alert the alien or be tricked by the shadows in the corners, placing you at a constant disadvantage. So on top of being larger and stronger than you, he's also smarter than you. All framed through the first-person perspective makes this so much scarier, as all the information regarding the xenomorph's location is extremely limited, requiring both precision and commitment to each action, which could easily end in a bone-chilling death, made all the worse by the fact that you see it happen to yourself. While in third-person games like Dead Space, the camera allows for the death animations to be much grosser, which gives a bigger initial reaction. After you've seen it once, it's nothing crazy. But not seeing what's about to happen and having to imagine the horrors is infinitely worse. Similarly, we go underground to Amnesia the Bunker, which takes the concept of the monster to the next level in my opinion. To begin, much like the xenomorph, the beast in Amnesia is a stalker, hiding in little holes all around the bunker. And he's much faster than you, so by the time you see him peek his head out, you know it's time to wrap it up. And much like the xenomorph, the beast can hear everything you do, making each knocked over chair or grenade thrown even more stressful, as you don't know how close the beast truly is until it's too late. What's different about Amnesia, however, is the darkness. The bunker is dark, being powered only by this bummy generator that you have to continually refuel. Operating on a timer, your visibility is extremely limited to wherever you have power, and the second you run out of fuel, it's lights out, literally, where the beast is free to roam and also impossible to see. The moment when the lights go out and you know he's free but can't find him is what first-person horror is all about. Checking your shoulders repeatedly as you try to quietly make it back to a safe zone, combined with a limited vision, is the stuff of nightmares. Or you can use your flashlight, which illuminates a whole 2 feet in front of you, coning your vision into this small region where you can faintly make out objects, forcing you to focus on what's just a box versus what's a beast rushing you down. However, unlike Alien, in Amnesia you have a pistol, meaning that if you want a chance of fighting back, you're gonna have to stare this guy down as he sprints head first at you and make sure you don't miss. That split second between life and death is the height of adrenaline, because if you miss your shot, well, let's just say we're past lights out. But even this comes at a cost, as the pistol is also a limited resource which can be used to open doors, making even the small choice to unlock a door all the more stressful, because you know it will alert the beast while you're all the more defenseless against certain doom.
Now I could go back and forth all day with examples.
The haunting top-down perspective of Darkwood, in which they confine your vision to a tiny cone, with your surroundings disappearing when you look away, further characterizing the woods as an overwhelming and alien force that can't be understood. The way they use sound to convey nearby enemies that you can't see, making you panic as you quickly look around for whoever spotted you, all of which hold attention throughout your entire playthrough.
Or
the mortuary assistant, which forces you to get close and personal with bodies that are possibly haunted, making you extremely uncomfortable as you analyze and prepare the bodies for cremation. Combine that with the supernatural forces acting on you, which culminate in both subtle and explicit jump scares, some not even using a loud noise or boo, but still making you jump out of your seat. All of which use your perspective against you, as some jump scares are possible to be missed. The limitations of knowing what's going on and how trapped and claustrophobic the room is makes the game feel itself haunted. Or the Dark Pictures anthology, which are based upon and framed like traditional horror movies, which it uses to its full extent with these beautiful close-ups and pullbacks, combined with other tricks such as shaky cam and framing, or QTEs and dilemmas which make you feel like you're playing a real horror movie.
Or
No, I'm Not a Human framing through a door which contorts and discolors all the guests, making the differences between human and visitors even more difficult to tell. Combined with the intimacy of the conversations, making each close-up and sudden change all the more alarming as you reach for your shotgun.
Xbox, record that.
but you get my point.
Both first and third person perspectives can be used for effective horror. Both come with benefits and limitations, which make them better for certain experiences. In the end, whichever perspective better serves the gameplay and story will always heighten the horror rather than remove from it. So with the release of Resident Evil Requiem, what is truly better? Ultimately, only time will tell, but I believe there will be a great divide in players who find it scarier in third versus first person.
Because horror is such a personal experience, it's impossible to say which mode will be more effective, since what scares me might not scare you. That is besides one thing, actually being in danger. That's right, I'd like to propose one last perspective that is still largely unexplored and holds the most potential for horror that scares everybody. What is this magical perspective, you ask? VR.
That's right, I believe that VR is the future of horror. The most common point of contention within these conversations is the immersive factor of different perspective. Yet in VR, it's you who's in the danger and has to do everything yourself, heightening every type of horror I mentioned earlier. Beasts are actually larger than you, and while you're still just on your couch, they're in your face attacking you. VR has so many ways to scare you all over again, and we've already seen how good it is. Some examples include Resident Evil 7, again, FNAF Help Wanted, and Duck Season, all of which demonstrate my point. The scale of the enemies being so much larger makes them ever more intimidating. Combine that with the fact that you can't run away, locking you in place, watching them come ever closer. This is the height of immersion. On top of that, these games are just as effective at storytelling and creating an atmosphere. From FNAF's deafening silence as you work, to the unexplainable terrors of duck season, tapping into a similar feeling as haunted houses, where you have to actually walk through an environment designed to unsettle you, from the props to the actors who pop out. VR builds upon the established tropes of immersive horror and the ability to tap into your most primal instincts by presenting you with situations that would be impossible in real life, scaring you in ways that simply weren't possible before. The medium of VR has shown great promise for creating unique experiences that will scare even the most die-hard horror fans. The horror world is constantly finding new ways to scare us, and I believe as gaming technology improves, our horror games will too. No matter if it's first person, third person, or even in VR, there still remains a large untapped world of horror.
Now if you'll excuse me, all this talk of horror was too much for me, and I figured out that I indeed got a surprise gift for dinner. So I gotta go handle that now. Thanks for stopping by the pond. It's your koi. I'm out.
Whatever.